Hello, everybody. This is welcome to Townsend 505. My name's Nick. Um, today's going to be a very big day for my channel. I believe this is the first ever video for me to have all five of you guys here reviewing an album. So
Oh, wow.
there's
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Took us this long to do a review on my channel. Most of the time, when it's the five of us, it's usually on Scott's end where we do Led Zeppelin. So it's interesting that we're now doing it for the Rolling Stones. Joining me today, Briar from Briar's Music Showcase, or have sympathy for my hot take.
Oh, I may have to change my name. He's referencing the same song.
Joining me
moment.
On the far left, on the top right, is Jason speaking to there over at in his basement in the great state of Kansas.
Yep.
On the below me is Jacob from Jacob Martin, or I Hate Jigsaw Puzzles. And then on the bottom right is Scott from Sound Lab Studios with Street Fighting Scott. How's everyone doing here tonight?
All right.
Good. Doing good.
Heck yeah. So today we're reviewing Beggars Banquet.
What? Do we have a different album? I'm not. I didn't listen to the Toilet album. I haven't heard that one.
Oh no!
I just heard this White Album ripoff.
Tyler left the comment. Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello.
Tyler J. Smithers.
Tyler and I've been listening to some Rolling Stones. He finally heard Aftermath the other day.
Oh, nice.
That's cool. So well, I didn't ask Briar yet, but you have any background information before we begin?
Well, yes, I do. Okay.
Okay.
Background
right.
information.
It's become a habit now. Every album I review, I have to have some info.
You're the historian.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
But I wrote a couple things. So of course, this is the follow-up to their previous album. Of course, the Titanic Majesty's Request. That one, which you can kind of see behind me a little bit. But yeah, it was pretty divisive to say the least. So after that, they decided I think it's best they kind of go back to their roots. They kind of go back to that blues rock sort of sound that they are known for, and so that's what they did. Okay, pretty notable for one special occasion. This is the first album where they worked with Jimmy Miller, who would become their producer during what people say this is where the Rolling Stones really came into their own. And Glenn Johns was engineering, and he also has said that this is when this is like their coming of age album. This is when they're really starting to mature as songwriters here, and I might agree with that. But it was also pretty notable for the fact that this was around this time Brian Jones was really starting to become unreliable. He was taking a lot more drugs, and mentally he was not doing that good either, and so he was becoming more and more distant from the band, and there were countless other reasons. I don't remember exactly when, but I know at some point he was dating somebody, then Keith sold her from him, so that also put a wedge between him and the band. And yeah, and there were times when they were recording, and I forgot who was. I think it was the producer Jimmy, but he has said that they would record, and then Brian Jones would come in, and you can tell he was out of it, and he would just be playing something, but it was just so different from what the rest of the band were doing. They decide to just not record him, just have him do his thing in the corner, and just have him carry on. And because of that, this was when Keith was really starting to step up more on the music side, because before it was Brian who was in charge for the most part, but now it's up to Keith now to step in. And so this album, they're starting to incorporate not just blues, but now you have roots rock in here and other little genres that we're gonna talk about, little extra flair in there, which is definitely going to be interesting here. And of course, this album did way better than the last one. This went to number 3 in the UK, number 5 in the US. And yeah, of course, we kind of briefly mentioned it, but of course, when it comes to the album cover, there's 2 versions of it. So, of course, you can see in the background, and Scott has it there. That is probably that was what they released. But of course, me and Nick have what they originally wanted, just this graffiti-laden bathroom here. And even on the back, you still got more graffiti on here with the track listing all scattered around. But there you go. I guess they wanted to use the bathroom because just to be ironic, just be funny, because Beggars, Banquet, and toilet, that whole thing. But yep, there you go. That's pretty much all the background info that I have here.
Cool.
I know that apparently Jumping Jack Flash was supposed to be on this album with the UK singles thing, because they had to change the cover. It was pushed back a few months while they were redesigning the cover, and it was at that time that we have to put something out, and so that's why Jumping Jack Flash was released as a single ahead, and that's why it's not on the album. Found that out. I'm doing some research about the album.
Okay. Before we begin, before we continue, I want to read some of the comments. Background information is a good thing to have, especially when reviewing a classic album. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
We got Mick Jagger and
Mick Jagger's
wow.
back.
I guess he didn't want. I guess he refused to watch the Satanic album because he did it on the Beatles review. He hated it, so it makes sense. I love the sound. Yeah, we all really like
Mick Jagger. You should be proud of your
There you
vocals
go.
on
Yeah,
this
that
album.
was who Brian was dating at the time that Keith stole from.
Oh, okay.
Me too, Mick. Keith was a force to be reckoned with on this album.
Yes.
Agreed.
Keith Richards really steps it up on the guitar playing on this album.
I totally agree. The white RSVP cover makes more sense to me, though. Yeah, I could.
I'm gonna be team. I'm gonna be team invitation cover, but I don't know. I still get what they're going for with the toilet, but
yeah,
I don't know that.
And of course, my CD has a crack in it, which to me kind of makes it even better.
I mean, for me, I see this and I see the inside photo, and I don't know. I feel like this goes better with this gatefold. I don't really see the toilet and then opening up and seeing this feast. It's like that's interesting.
Maybe that's what happens after.
I agree. RSVP all the way. So, okay, so 3 people are saying RSVP. What Brian?
Let's take a vote. RSVP. Raise your hand. Oh, it's just me here. Toilet.
Yeah, toilet.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They're both. Yeah, they're interesting for both reasons.
So this one here is RSVP. What?
Yeah. Okay. Jason, do you like this one with the white because it says RSVP at the bottom? It's like an invitation. Or do you like the toilet?
I would say the toilet because this is kind of bland. The toilet one.
Okay.
Has a little.
So everybody here but me likes the toilet better, but yet everyone in the comments is with me on the invitation cover.
So it's a 4-3 vote. Okay. Album covers aside, comments aside. Everyone want to share their brief thoughts on this album before we begin?
I'll start. Yeah. And I know you liked the album before, but this sounds so much more like the Rolling Stones. The last album was a bold experiment. And my hat definitely goes off to them for trying something different, but some of it doesn't exactly land. And this album, it really goes back to what makes the Stones, as well as them going for a little bit of a new sound as well that they're going to carry on through the next few albums. And if Aftermath was the album where the Stones became the Stones, which in my opinion is... Oh, no, sorry. I'm trying to figure out, because the Out of Our Heads is whenever they first get, really good. And then Aftermath is the album where they really come into their own. This album is when they, solidify that they're, one of the best bands. Whenever they come out with this album.
Yeah, I agree, though, with then, this is, when they really get their sound. Mick Jagger said, I agree. The last album sounds like a college experiment gone off.
Why don't we sing this song all together?
Yeah, well, yeah. I get the criticisms. I get it. It's just...
Nobody else would ever do.
I did that. I did that on the Led Zeppelin review.
You did that during the press during Two for One.
You unintentionally covered part of
You did. You every time someone snores, it's like, did you know that you're unintentionally covering In Another Land by the Rolling Stones?
Anyone else want to share their brief thoughts?
Yeah. I felt like this was a great return to form for the Rolling Stones. I wasn't big on the last album either. I love that this is what surprises me, because before listening to this album, I had only heard like the two major songs from this album, Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man, two rocking songs. But the rest of this album, for the most part, has more of a country aesthetic, which kind of blew my mind listening to this album. It kind of subverted my expectations a little bit, and because of that, I actually really love this album. I can't wait to talk about all these songs.
Oh, I figured you would.
This one and the next one, Jacob, I've got a feeling those are going to be some of your favorites.
Yeah. Coming to this album, in my opinion, it feels like we're like starting like a new era of the Rolling Stones to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the big ones like the Aftermath and the Out of Our Heads and Between the Buttons were, I don't know what to call it. I call it like the British rock invasion era of Rolling Stones, which is some good stuff. I was on here for the Flowers review, and I thought Flowers was a really good album. To me, that was like the best of their I said British rock.
Brian Jones era.
Which was just good British rock music and pop music in that one. And then with this one, it's like the sound changes. It's just a little different sounding. And it's like we're in the late 60s, but it feels like we're starting to get into the 70s. It feels like this is kind of pushing forward to the 70s already to me. And like you said, I like that we're doing something different here. There's a country sound here, which is interesting, and it works for the band. Interesting enough, and this is kind of almost starts like, to me, probably the biggest era for Rolling Stones. This is like their peak period in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of going on what you were saying about the sound. This album sounds amazing for 1968.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jimmy Miller was doing with this album, but it sounds like it could have been recorded in 1972. That's how good the sound is on this recording.
Yeah, this is a huge step up for them in terms of really evolving their sound.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give my brief thoughts. I think this album is amazing. This is definitely a grower. This was definitely a grower for me, because kind of like I'm gonna bank off of what Jacob was saying. Like, you listen to the big hits off of it, you expect a rockin' album, and then you hear country influence. You're like, at first I was like, what the hell is this? This is awful. Of course, this is 2 years ago. So, and back then I really didn't like country music. So this is I definitely grew as a person in terms of country, and this was a great step up for them. If you're gonna go for their country thing, Mick Jagger commented, "This and Exile are my favorite albums."
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Great choices. You guys want to start reviewing the album?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Woo!
What's the order going to look like? I know I'm going to be last usual, so who wants to go first?
I usually go first, I think.
Let Jason go first.
Okay, Jason, you're center stage.
All right. Well, so we start with Sympathy
for the Devil. Yep. Oh, I'm a little tired from school, so for a second it was sorry. The first song on the first side is Sympathy for the Devil. Sorry.
Yeah. We start with the best song on the album, and the biggest song, the song I knew coming to this album was Sympathy for the Devil, which I think was a big radio hit. I'm guessing it was a single. I remember playing it on a Rock Band or something like that. I remember I played one of those Guitar Hero, I used to play all those stuff. And I want to say this was on Guitar Hero 5 or something. Anyways, I remember this was on there, and I was like, man, this song is so cool. I just love the idea behind it, of course, that Mick Jagger's singing as the devil, and he's going through lyrically, it's like really cool song. He's going lyrically, he's going through like the history and stuff that's going on, bad things I think going on in history, and kind of talking about like as Satan, like he's like involved in all this bad stuff going on. I was there when this happened. I was there when this happened, and then you get to the, and it's supposed to be like this, kind of like he doesn't say who he is, but he's like, pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. And we're all like, yeah, we know who you are. you're the devil. That's what we're getting to. So it's really cool. And idea, I think the whole idea behind the song is like really neat and unique. Never seen anything like it, really, to be honest. And just musically, I just love it. How it begins with him and that piano. I love that piano throughout the song. It's like really great. I also love the percussions. Like there's all these cool like percussions in the background you can hear, and it's like wow, it adds to it. And then as he's singing, there's a bit of a crescendoing or a bit of a growing in the song where he feels like he's getting louder. It's getting a little, I don't know if it's getting faster, but he's getting louder. And then all of a sudden you get these background vocals of hoo 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 hoo, and I love those background vocals, and it just does that throughout because it doesn't do it right away. You go through some verses, I think, and all of a sudden you get the background vocals, and you're like, oh, this is like a cool addition. So I love the evolution of the song, how they add things to it as it goes. And I just feel like Jagger's just at his best vocally here on the song where he's really singing. By the time you get toward the end, he's really singing out. And then you get like a cool guitar solo, I think, towards the end that you're like, holy cow, where's this coming from? Like, it's a cool guitar solo. So yeah, to me, as if you haven't guessed, this is like one of my favorite Rolling Stone songs to begin the album. So yeah, I love this.
Okay, who wants to go next?
No one else wants to say anything. I guess I'll go next. All right. Well, I have a fascinating history with this song. I actually really disliked this song for the longest time. Well, see, I was raised in a Christian household, and I'm still a Christian today. I'm in preaching school. I'm training for that. Pretty strong in faith, spiritually. And so for the longest time, I thought this was a no-no song. I was like, this is a purely satanic song, clearly fixated on the devil. Even the title is called Sympathy for the Devil. Like, I'm not really supposed to feel, why am I supposed to feel sympathetic for a guy who wants to destroy my soul? I'm like, that's a weird title for a song. So I listened to this song again, and I'm like, you know what? I completely misunderstood this song. It's not promoting the fact, it's not promoting devil worship.
No.
And a lot of people at the time thought it was.
Probably.
I like the idea of the song, Mick Jagger singing in the point of view of Satan, and just really diving deep into how despicable he is. The fact that he's behind the scenes manipulating, deceiving people, causing terrible things to happen. So, in all accounts, this song pretty much examines how wicked of a character the devil actually is. I have no idea why it's called Sympathy for the Devil. I read the song was originally supposed to be called The Devil Is My Name. I think that's a better title.
That makes sense.
Than Sympathy for the Devil. But listening to it for the album, I'm like, you know what? I've undermined and misunderstood this song. I think Mick Jagger sings great on it. The percussion on this song is awesome. Has kind of like these like conga beats, Latin beats. I thought that was pretty cool. The woo woo near the end, I think, is pretty memorable. And even like Jason brought up, Mick Jagger is awesome on this song vocally, especially when he like screams it. It's like, "Hey, you! I took my name." Yeah, I thought this was a very bold idea of a song to do something like this, and I think he paid it off. The crazy thing is, even though I've misunderstood this song, this album is so good that even a big hit song like Sympathy for the Devil is not even in my top 5. So
Oh, wow.
that just tells you how good this album is.
Yeah.
I'll go next. So the idea behind this song is very interesting. Mick Jagger singing as the devil. I will say, Jacob, it is called Sympathy for the Devil because in the song, he lists all these historical events and bad things that have happened, but then he says it's not me that did it, it was you. Like he's like, I said who killed the Kennedys, but it was you and me. So he's like blame shifting on the piece. Like, I'm not the one who did the bad stuff, it was you guys. But as we all know, the devil's a big liar. So it's basically the devil blame shifting, which kind of inverts the old saying, the devil made me do it. But we all know that he's really the bad guy, because at the end, like at first he's all like, I'm a man of wealth and taste, like I want me, but then at the very end he's like, well, you better show me some sympathy or I'm going to lay your soul to waste. Like, yep, that's the devil. He's going to lie to you. He says it's not me, and then he's going to say, and you better believe me or else I'll just slay your soul to waste. Mm-hmm. I love the guitar solo in this. Keith Richards has like the most ear-piercing guitar tone on it, but it's amazing. With that woo woo going on in the background and that percussion, really amazing. And yeah, Mick Jagger's vocals are great. At the end when Jake was talking about when he was screaming, "What's my name?" Woo woo. This is one I can imagine. Like all the people when you go to see the Rolling Stones in concert, everyone gets going woo woo,
yeah,
woo woo,
yeah,
yeah, really good.
Before Breyer gives his opinion, I got a couple more comments. This is my favorite album opener. Nice.
It might be my favorite one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine is "Give Me Shelter."
Give me.
From the album so far, my favorite album opener is probably "Painted Black."
That's a good one.
From the Aftermath.
There is the line, "If you meet me, have some courtesy, have some sympathy, and some taste." That might be where the title comes from.
Sympathy, yeah.
That's a good guess.
Or something, then they'll lay your soul to waste. Whatever it is.
Brian, what's your opinion on the song?
Okay. So here's the thing. You read my name. There's
hope you guess your name.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, a couple people already know this, but I've said this a couple times. I was never really a big fan of the song. Even when I was a kid, I never really cared for it. And so for years, I've just been like, I just don't get this song. I don't get the appeal of it. That being said, when revisiting this album, it has grown on me. It has grown me a lot more since then. It's still not my favorite on the album, but it's luckily not at the bottom, because originally I thought this was going to be at the very bottom, but yeah, and after giving it another chance, I was like, okay, it's I get it now. I see the appeal. I can hear the appeal now. It's definitely a song I would say I respect more than I actually would go out of my way to listen to it. But let me just get the one thing I'm still very hit or miss with. You all talked about the woo woo. I never cared for that. That always bugged me. I don't get it. It kind of is like, it's just kind of weird for me. It's kind of corny to me, but that's like my only biggest gripe with it. But there is a lot of good things about this song. Like probably one of my favorites is also which of course the piano, which I believe was Nicky Hopkins on piano on this one. And then on bass, the bass playing is really good, and it surprisingly was not done by Bill Wyman. It was actually Keith on bass for this track. And yeah, it's some really great stuff on here. And everyone's talked about the guitar playing, like his guitar solo, very good stuff. And yeah, I was really digging Mick Jagger's vocals. I think he sounds really good here. And of course, the percussion, that very Latin feel to it, with the maracas and other percussion that they used, almost a samba sort of vibe to it, which is pretty interesting. Definitely very creative. Again, it's not my favorite song on the album, but it's definitely grown on me since then. So yeah, so there you go. I respect it. I respect the song.
I just realized whenever we were reviewing CCR, Willie and the Poor Boys, like Fortunate Son, that's the first big song you hear in every Vietnam movie. This is the other one.
This is another one, yeah.
As well as when I was listening to this song, like when he was talking about like who killed the Kennedys, nowadays you think like, oh, that's a historical. That happened just a few years before this song came out.
Yeah.
So like whenever this song came out, that was a very
pretty
recent
close
event.
to the RFK assassination too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It it's like, because now when you listen to it now, it's like, yeah, it's just a part of history. That was like
That was of the time.
that
Yeah.
was current when this song
Yeah.
was released.
Yeah, I read when it was first recorded, it was like he was a reference to I shot John F. Kennedy, but then as they were recording the album, the second Kennedy assassination happened, and so they redid it to where it's like I killed both Kennedys.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a great song. I like the witty lyrics on it. This and another song on the album, just very, very witty lyrics on it. I'm in agreement with Jacob. This is not in my top 5, but this is a masterpiece. I'm gonna be honest. If we were reviewing this album, like when I was working at this one job where this guy was playing the radio all the time, and I was listening to the song basically every day, this would definitely be dead last. But now that I've not been forced to listen to that song every day, I'm definitely loving it now. Yeah, this is a great opener. But yeah,
It's
next
in my
one.
top 5, but it's not in my top 1. That's what I'll say.
Okay,
I mean,
so,
the song is in my top 5 favorite Rolling Stone songs of all time. Not just this album, but all time.
Oh
So
wow!
it blows me away that you guys are like not even top 5 on the album. I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
there's a few other ones.
it's like one of the greatest Rolling Stone songs of all time, in my opinion.
It is. There's just a few that I like a little bit. Well, maybe just 1 or 2, but
if it makes you feel better, at one point it was my dad's favorite Stone song. But we get to the next song on the album, "No Expectations."
All right, man. Another really good song. I really like this one. A little different. To me, this was so laid back, and I really liked the laid backness of it. It was just a really cool song. I loved this album in total is very acoustic, which is why I kind of like the album. And I don't mind, the rock stuff that Rolling Stones do, but I don't know, kind of like this whole different, like a very acoustic style that they did here. And I feel like they did this thing that I kind of really liked, and they would have this acoustic guitar strumming, which I really liked. I thought was really good. And then they'd have slide guitar, it sounds like, playing along with it. And man, what a great combination. I didn't realize what good combination that was. So I was like, listening to a lot of these songs on here. And I really like that. The acoustic guitar just keeping that steady, like kind of overall beat, whatever, overall, sound. And then that guitar just hitting these little slide guitar licks throughout. And yeah, I really liked it. I love the laid backness of it. It was another, to me, it's like, this is a song that it's not a big hit, but it's like, man, this is like a hidden gem, like underrated song to me. Like, it's not one I would never know except for listening to this album and going, gosh, this is a really good song. Like, that people might not know about, but yeah.
Before Jacob gives his opinion, but before I show Stefan's comment, this is the last song Brian Jones is noticeable on an album. He's done work on this album and 2 other songs on the next album, but like this is like the last time you really noticed Brian Jones. And
yeah, and Mick Jagger has said that this was like it was basically Brian's last real, true, meaningful contribution to the band.
Yeah. This is where his comment comes in. Love Brian Jones on the slide on No Expectations. Yep. The slide he does on this album, on this song, I mean, is the last time you'll hear Brian Jones really noticeable. That's the last time. He's on 2 other songs on Let It Bleed, but this is the last time you really hear Brian Jones.
I feel like there's at least 3 songs that I put down. There was like a really good slide guitar or something on there. But
this is like the last time he's done slide guitar on a song.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like what I consider to be Brian Jones' last hurrah. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I thought this was quite an underrated Rolling Stone song. What's crazy is I read this was the B-side, "The Street Fighting Man," and they're like 2 vastly different songs.
Oh.
And we'll get to Street Fighting Man when we get there, but yeah, this song really, really cool. The slide guitar on the song is really awesome. It sounded more like a steel guitar when I heard it, but I think because it being mixed with the acoustic guitar. But just the production on this song is great, and even like the laid backness with the way Mick Jagger sings the song, really cool. This is a great hidden gem song that is one of the more memorable songs on the album.
Okay, so as you can see, I have this record, but the last time that I had heard it was a few years ago when we were doing our Rolling Stones ranking over on the Sound Lab channel. And so it had been a long time. I just picked it up at the store because I remembered liking the album, but I didn't listen to it. I mean, of course, I had to play Street Fighting Man on my sound system, but I listened to this record yesterday, like for the first time on the record, and I got to this song, and I'm like, how did I forget about this song? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot how amazing some of the Rolling Stones country ballads can be. This is like almost as good as Wild Horses. Like, I love Brian Jones's slide guitar playing on here. It's a very chill song. I love I got no expectations. It's just, I don't know, something about this song just puts me in a very good mood. And
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most overlooked songs on this album here, because I forgot it existed till I listened to it. I'm like, I ain't gonna forget about this song anymore. This is amazing.
Yeah, this was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's a nice acoustic ballad, and kind of, this definitely has a nice chill, relaxedness to it. A little bit of sadness too is what I got as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we already talked about the slide playing from Brian, great stuff, and the acoustic guitar playing. But I really liked Bill Wyman's bass on this one. It's simple, but it's effective. Adds the low ends very nicely. And yeah, Mick Jagger really does a great job vocally here. Just really sets the tone very nicely. And again, the piano, again, provided by Nicky Hopkins, is really beautiful. Overall, yeah, I agree with everyone. This is a very lovely song. This is definitely a highlight for me.
I'm in agreement with everyone. This is an amazing song. I always get a sad feeling at the end of it because it's the last time you hear Brian Jones do a big contribution on a Stone song, and knowing that and hearing the end of the song, you're just like, wow. Kind of like Scott kind of briefly mentioned that the album's like Between the Buttons, Aftermath. That's like the big Brian Jones period. I consider this to be like an end of an era.
Yeah.
This song, it's like, wow. It's just like, Painted Black is like kind of like it's sort of like the introduction. This is like sort of like the end. It's just very haunting to end the Brian Jones era. And going back to what Jacob said, yeah, this is the B-side to Street Fighting Man, and you know what? I actually like this better than Street Fighting Man because of how laid back it is. It's such a beautiful song. And now we get to the next song on the album. Very country influenced. Dear Doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first song I wrote that, wow, this is very country. Like, to me, it seemed like the first real countryish song on here. And there's a good harmonica here I like, and there's kind of some harmonies that I like here. But for the most part, I was not a fan of this song. It was a little too countryish for me. Like, I like some country, but there's a lot of country I'm not a fan of. So I'm kind of hit or miss on country. But this was one that I was like, I wasn't too keen on it.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I really like this song. And a lot of it. Well, I viewed No Expectations as more of a country style song, but this one I think leans into it a bit more, like Jason was saying. There's some really good harmonies on the song. I like how humorous the storytelling is in the song. It's like Dear Doctor, and it's all about this like relationship, but it's done out of pettiness. I even like there's this part where Mick Jagger is like impersonating the female voice of the song, and I don't like it when Mick Jagger does falsetto notes. I've heard Emotional Rescue. That song sucks. But him doing it for comedic effect, I thought worked for this song. There's a good harmonica to it. Not my favorite song on this album, but still really, really good. I like I like the sly sense of humor of this song.
The
Wait,
song is
sorry, Scott. Before we begin, I just want to point out the comment. I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry when I hear "Dear Doctor." It is humorous, but I feel sorry for the big character.
I don't feel sorry for him.
well. You gotta get to the end of the song because like I don't know, this song is just hilarious.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go ahead and get into my review of it. The story is so funny. It's like Mick Jagger is going to get married, or his character is going to get married, and you can tell he doesn't want to get married because apparently this girl's really ugly, and his mom just kind of forced him into it and is like, "Quit your whining, you're getting married tomorrow." And so he's going to the doctor and is like, "Doctor, if you could just surgically remove my heart so I don't feel anything, because I don't want to. That'll maybe make this marriage a little bit less painful to endure." And then as he's about to go, he puts on his suit, but he finds a note in his jacket. He opens the jacket, and then whenever he reads the note, Mick Jagger does it in the girlfriend's voice, which is really funny. But it says, "There's not going to be a wedding tomorrow because I ran off with your cousin." And so there's like, "All right, doctor, you can put my heart back in because there's not going to be a wedding. I'm good now." But it's amazing. I love the country influence on here, but really the storytelling is what makes this song great.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, this is another song I enjoyed quite a bit. We already talked about the lyrics. Yeah, it's a song you can't really take seriously.
No,
but
It's just fun.
it's a fun song. Yeah, it has a more country influence, which I enjoy. And I do like the acoustic. Like Bill Wyman's playing bass, but it's an acoustic bass, so it definitely has a different tone. More warm sort of sound, which I kind of liked. And yeah, Mick Jagger doing the falsetto was pretty funny. I usually don't mind when he does falsetto, but yeah, here when he does a comedic effect, it definitely makes it a lot more fun. And I even like the backing vocals on here. I think it's Keith providing the backing vocals on here, and I think they're not really a harmony band, but when Mick and Keith harmonize, it was usually pretty nice. I actually kind of liked it. Again, it's not in my top 5, but I do enjoy the song. It's a fun one.
Before I give my thoughts on this song, first time I ever heard the song, me and my dad were me and my dad were hanging out here in the basement. We were shooting pool, and I wanted to listen to Beggars Banquet for the first time because sympathy for the devil. We listened to this song, and my dad's like, "Turn this crap off." I'm like, fair enough, and we ended up listening to like Glass Houses by Billy Joel after that. But yeah, we got to the song, and my dad's like, "What is this garbage? This is the Stones still? Turn this off." Yeah, my whenever something is slightly like out of my dad's comfortability in terms of music, it's kind of throws him off, and like, "Turn this garbage off." And I did. I used to hate the song. I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of in that vicinity of hating the song, but like everyone said, the song isn't really meant to be taken seriously, and not that, but the song definitely grew on me. It is background.
Okay.
Nice. But gonna keep it very brief. It's good, but it's not like the best. Definitely my least favorite on the album. I'm gonna be brutally honest. This is my least favorite song on the album still, but I enjoy it. Now we get to the next song on the album, "Parachute Woman."
Yeah, if Dear Doctor is probably my second least favorite, this is my least favorite song on the album. Again, it's just so country, and I was not into it. And to me, it was a kind of a boring song, and I thought it was lazy songwriting. Like, I felt like it repeated itself quite a bit. It didn't really go anywhere. It was just like almost like, why did we need the song? It didn't feel like they really put a lot into it. That was my feeling on it. I did not like this one.
What's fascinating is the song's not really country to me. It's more bluesy
Yeah.
than it is country.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think of all the songs, I feel like this is the one Jason would not like 'cause it's too bluesy. At least it's not long. It's only like 2 minutes long.
Not long, yeah, that's true.
But I like the song fine. I like the bluesy production it has. I'm not really sure what Mick Jagger means when he says parachute woman. That's a weird terminology, but I think the song's catchy. And I think it's compared to the blues rock covers that the Stones did on their mediocre first album, I feel like this is a big step up because Mick Jagger and Keith Richards wrote it and they're capable songwriters. So I'm going to say a good effort on their part, even though it's not my favorite.
Is there not any country sounding in here? Is that just me or?
Not to me. It's more
I don't know.
blues. Yeah, I agree with Jacob. It's more blues.
It does sound like a blues song to me.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I think it's country. Huh. Okay.
This is probably my least favorite song on the album, but it's not bad. The production sounds a lot more dated than the rest of the album. For some reason, this sounds like it was recorded earlier than the rest of the album was, for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the big, heavy vocal on Mick Jagger's voice, but when I hear this song, it's like, oh, like I just heard Dear Doctor. It's like, whoa, there's a big jump down in quality on the recording in this song. And then it's just kind of a basic blues song. It's a lot like Trampled Underfoot. Instead of car metaphors, now we have parachute metaphors. But yeah, not one of my favorites on this album, but it's not a bad song. It's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. This is also my least favorite song on the album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a fine song. It's very bluesy. You know, they're trying to harken back to Muddy Waters, which of course they're huge fans of. And you know, there's some nice harmonica playing. It was both Mick and Brian I think Brian does the first harmonica and then Mick does the second one. So that was kind of interesting. And there's some nice guitar from Keith. And yeah, you know, lyrically it's supposed to be a metaphor, very sexual metaphor. I won't go into specifics, but overall it's a fine song. But again, it's probably my least favorite.
I'm in disagreement. I love this song. I've always liked the song. Just to save the aching suspense. This is not my favorite song, Jason. So you could rest at ease there, because I don't want to be like, this is my favorite. And just
I know.
sorry, yet again. Don't worry, that's not the case. I like this song, but not that much. Especially with some of the songs on the album. This is really good. I love the guitar playing. I actually like that the song sounds kind of muddy in comparison to the other songs because it makes it stand out more to me. I actually like that a lot, that it stands out. Again, I'm loving it. I'm loving every song on the album so far. Now we get to the last song on the album, on the side one, Jigsaw Puzzle.
All right. I thought this was a pretty good song, actually. Another song that kind of an underrated song. I don't think anybody would ever hear of unless you listen to this album, you know. And interesting name. I mean, he's talking about putting the jigsaw puzzle together, I think because it's raining or something like that. I know he talks about rain in the song and putting jigsaw puzzle together, which I like putting jigsaw puzzles together. I do it every once in a while. I got some up here in my cabinet. I love to do the 1,000-piece ones because those take a while to do. But again, I love the acoustic guitar here. I think it sounds great with I heard like another slide guitar sound like to me, mixed in with it, which I love the combination there. I thought the piano was really good, and I really like the bass. And I don't talk enough about the bass. Bill Wyman, I think, does a really good job in this whole album. And I don't really notice the bass that much on most albums on the Rolling Stones, I don't think. But this was one I was like, I'm really liking the bass on here. I don't know if people talk about Bill Wyman. I don't know much about him, to be honest.
Yeah, they don't really talk about him too much, which is kind of sad because he's had some great bass lines.
It makes me think, he might be a good bass player. I just don't think about it, you know.
He's one of the most underrated bass players, in my opinion.
It's unfortunate, but we usually don't think about the bass players that much. They're kind of like the forgotten.
No, I always think about the John Deacon, John Paul Jones, and Geddy Lee, and John Entwistle. They're all amazing.
I mean, the casual music fan probably doesn't think about the bass playing,
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the forgotten heroes of
And Chris Squire. I forgot Chris Squire.
of music. And I even sometimes forget about it. And then every once in a while, I'm like, I really need to listen to the bass more on this song. And sometimes I'll try to concentrate on the bass part. And then I'll be like, wow, I really like the bass, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like the electric guitar usually takes the lead, and the drumming sometimes will take a lead. And, every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I forget the bass is really good too. But anyways, that's just a side thing. But overall, it was a song that kind of, as it kept going, I kept enjoying it more and more. Like at first I was like, I thought it was okay. And then, but as it kept going, something happened where I was like, man, I'm really enjoying this melody and I'm enjoying the instruments. And I'm like, man, by the end, I was like, I got really into the song and thought, this is actually one of my favorite on the album.
Cool. I'll share my thoughts on the song. Parachute Woman is bluesy. I think Parachute might have to be with her anatomy in one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
Jigsaw Puzzle is very Dylan-esque. I think the last verse might be the Stones themselves. There is a part where the bass player, he looks numbered, the guitar players, and then they say the drummer and the singer. They at the end they talk about the kind of the band members. You're right there.
I think it's a prediction for the Hackney Diamonds tour. There's 20,000 grandmas waving their hankies in the air, and the bass player looks whatever, and the drummer's all faced out or whatever. No?
I know Bill Wyman, he quit the band at some point, and I'm guessing he doesn't play with it.
Not really. I know he guested on their latest album on one track.
I don't know what happened there, but I know he quit at some point.
With me, I really, really like this song. Ended up being one of my favorites on this album. The songwriting in this song is excellent. I agree with Steven. It does almost have Bob Dylan type feel to it. And it's crazy I've noticed that because I'm not the biggest Bob Dylan fan. I love his songwriting. His voice is hitting this.
Yeah.
There was a song on, I think, Between the Buttons that had a Bob Dylan feel.
Who's Been Sleeping Here?
Thank you. Who's Been Sleeping Here? This song's even better than that last song. Just the writing in this song is so good. The specific details about some of the things Mick Jagger notices in the song. And then he makes a comparison. Oh, I'm in here playing with my jigsaw puzzle while it's raining outside. And you can take that for what you will. Like what that actually means. For me, I think songwriting wise, this song is brilliant. I love the production on this album or this song. Another country type feel to it. There's some good piano on the track. I noticed there's a mellotron on this song. Compliments to Brian Jones, and that is a great fit to this song. And the percussion on it's pretty good. This one is also very laid back, like no expectations, and this song is really, really underrated. This is a contender for one of the best deep cut Stone songs. I really dug this one.
I love this song. This is one of the best songs on the album. It is very Bob Dylan-esque. The background of this story is that Mick Jagger was put in jail for a few days because he got drug busted, and it was written in jail while he was in jail for the drug bust. And so you can kind of get the lyrics there. And all this crazy stuff is going on outside, but yet he's just stuck inside playing with this jigsaw puzzle. And he probably wants to be outside, meaning like he wants to get out of jail and see all the cool stuff going on, but he's stuck inside with a jigsaw puzzle.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
At least he has the patience to do a jigsaw puzzle. As it says here, I do not like puzzles. I don't have the patience to do puzzles. My brain cannot comprehend the complexity of puzzles.
No. But speaking of complexity, the lyrics are very good, although some of them are a little far-fetched. 20,000 grandmas, like what? But I still do really like the lyrics. It's just that line always makes me laugh. It's like, what? Why is there 20,000? And then again, it's a prediction for the Hackney Diamonds tour. there's 20,000 grandmas there waving their handkerchiefs, and then they're
All around the world.
okay, yeah, all around the world. See, they predicted the Hackney Diamond Store. Anyway, no, this is an amazing song, one of the best on the album.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be an interesting one because I think when we did the original Rolling Stones ranking on Scott's channel, I think I can't remember, but I think I said something that this was my least favorite because I thought it went too long. But
Okay.
after revisiting this album, it's definitely, again, similar to Sympathy with the Devil, but I think this has definitely grown to me a lot more. Definitely some really great playing on here. I mean, Jason brought up Bill Wyman's bass playing. Like, yeah, it's some top-notch stuff. Some really good stuff here. And also really enjoy Charlie's drumming on here. Some very great drumming from him. Just good groove on this one. And again, you have more great piano from Nicky Hopkins once more. And yeah, it's just this very cool sort of kind of jam sort of song, but just everyone's just kind of playing to their strengths here. Great guitar playing. Again, lyrically, it's very interesting as well. Definitely keeps your attention. Overall, this is a very good song. It barely missed the top 5 for me, but still, it's definitely a big grower for me. So yeah, very good.
I love this song so much. I'm in agreement with everyone here. This is amazing song. I'm gonna be honest. I was not the biggest fan of the song when I first heard it originally. I thought this was a really boring song, but then the more I listen to it, kind of like what Jason said, it just gets better and better. And I just like the song so much. Like going on, I end up listening to it more. I'm like, this is amazing, and definitely a top 5 song for me. Bill Wyman left after the Urban Jungle Tour in 1990. Okay, reminds me about Blonde on Blonde. Yeah, this definitely very just. I could definitely sense that the Rolling Stones heard
That's
Blonde
probably
on
the
Blonde.
same time, right?
Yeah, like a couple years. Yeah, Blonde on Blonde came out at 66, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they definitely heard that album.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely Blonde on Blonde. Yeah.
Haven't we talked about Blonde on Blonde before? The influences of that album?
Yeah, I talked about that when we covered Between the Buttons.
Okay. Yeah, I remember we were talking about that before. Like, definitely.
Yeah, on the ranking as well, I talked about it.
Okay.
You even brought it up when we did the ranking. How this album also has Bob Dylan influences, which
Yeah.
this is the point of the video where you flip the record over. Okay.
Let's see.
Now the water's going to fall off.
Yep, I know.
Uh-oh.
Gonna be messy.
Look out, beggars.
Yeah. Bob Dylan's Dreams. Before we get to the next song, on the album cover, you can barely see Bob Dylan's Dreams.
Oh, I noticed that.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it points straight to the handle.
Yeah, down the toilet. But we get to the next song on the album on side 2. Street Fighting Man.
All right, Street Fighting Man. Yeah, another really good opener to the second side. They definitely did a good job opening their sides on this album and closing them. Actually, the opening and closers are really good on this album, now that I think about it. This is another song that I don't know if I've ever heard before. I don't remember it being a hit song, but it sounds like, I don't know, you guys will tell me, because it seems like you guys have heard the song before.
This was a hit.
And it was a hit. I don't remember.
Controversial hit.
What's that?
It was a controversial hit as well.
Oh, okay. So the only song I remember off this album is Sympathy for the Devil, as far as I've heard it before I heard this album. But Street Fighting Man definitely was one of my favorite coming up to this. I mean, when I was listening to this. And I just love the pace of it. It just has a really nice fast pace to it, I guess, to me. And a nice, because some of the songs like Just Like Puzzle, No Expectations, a little bit slower paced, which is great. I love the slower pace stuff. But then I love the contrast of getting to this, and it's a little faster pace, which I kind of enjoy that. We change from slower to faster paces. And I'll tell you, this is my favorite bass lines of the whole song. I mean, whole album. I thought the bass lines were really good on this song. That's what I really noticed. So I was like, man, I really love the bass playing on this song. That's some of the best part. And I thought it was a really catchy song. I mean, this is definitely one of the. I can see this being a hit. It seems like a very commercial song on this album, like that just fun to listen to. Yeah, it's to me it's a hidden gem song. I think it's one of the best ones on the album.
Yeah, this and Sympathy for the Devil before listening to this album were the only two songs I was familiar with. The first time I had heard Street Fighting Man, of all things, it was featured in the movie Fantastic Mr. Fox, and that was how I first heard this song. And it was used very well in that movie, I must say, during a chase scene.
Okay.
But yeah, in itself, this song's pretty awesome. I love Keith Richards' guitar riffs on this song. And then you get I think Charlie Watts on the drumming backing that up. Mick Jagger singing along. I think Steven in the live chat makes a good comment about why the song was so controversial. Very evocative of its time because it was tied to some of the issues of that time, Vietnam, civil rights movements, and some of the other protests that were going on, some of the social unrest. And
it was that time period in the 60s. That was a intense time.
Yeah, it was
and I think some feared the song was going to cause more unrest. I think that was the controversy, but I think the song was more tongue in cheek in nature. And I think even the Rolling Stones were confused about why it caused a controversy because they're like, we're not trying to incite a riot here. We're just trying to have a fun song. Like Bruce Springsteen, I read in the Wikipedia page mentioned there's a line in the song that says, "What can a poor boy do than play in a rock and roll band?" He said that's one of the funniest lyrics in any rock song. Yeah, take that for what you will. But I think this is an awesome song. Mick Jagger sings great on this. So what can a poor boy do? It's a thing for a rock and roll band. Don't be London down. It's just no place for a street fighting man. It packs a good punch. I think of the two singles, I like this over Sympathy for the Devil. And I will say this one's in my top 5.
This song is epic. So you start out with Keith Richards' guitar riff, and it kind of has this interesting sound to it. It's like, how did they get that sound? It's this exact same guitar sound used on Jumping Jack Flash, which we'll talk about after the album. But I found out it's really interesting how he got that sound. That's not an electric guitar. It's an acoustic guitar with an electric guitar pickup on it and recorded straight into Keith Richards' personal handheld cassette recorder. And then when he played back the cassette into the main mix through like an amplifier or something, that's how you got the weird guitar tone on it. Which I think that's really weird because like that sounds like an electric guitar, but like I have no idea how they did that. That is super cool. But you got that riff, and then you got like some Eastern percussion on here too. And then Brian Jones comes in on the sitar. And it's like, this is like a really trippy rocking song. Like this is cool. It's really amazing, and it's very powerful. Everywhere is fighting in the street, boy. Mick Jagger's vocal performance is very good. Yeah, this is another one of the best songs on the album.
All right, let's keep the train going. Yep, this is another favorite of mine. Really great song here. Lyrically, it's very good. I mean, everyone else has talked about a lot of the things I was going to say, but yeah, the acoustic guitar riff is very well put together. And again, the drum beat on here is like so big and so big sounding. It's kind of the heaviest song on the album. I'm putting air quotes on heavy because it's not too heavy, but still, it just has this good driving rhythm to it. And of course, you have the Indian influence with the percussion and the sitar that's on here, and the chorus is just very memorable. And again, really good vocal from Mick Jagger. But yeah, just a really great song. One of my favorites here. And our host, there's our host.
And our host.
To the streets to get in a fight.
Yeah. This is a really good song on the album. Um, I don't really have too much to say. You guys pretty much hit the nail on the head on this one. I had no idea this was an acoustic thing until now. I'm today years old when I found that out. Another great song on the album. I'm not sure yet if it made my top 5 because I haven't really made it yet, but
Oh.
it may or may not be in my top 5.
You got 4 songs left to
Yeah.
make a decision.
Well, speaking of which, we get to the next song on the album, Prodigal Son.
All right, I call this song country blues, and I don't know if I'm way off on that. To me, because it had like it was acoustic guitar, but it was played like in a bluesy style to me. So I don't know. To me, this was like the most like interesting like combination of country and blues on here, and for that, I didn't really care for the song.
I really love this song. Very country. I can see the blues thing you were talking about. This song is actually a cover of a blues song.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I read this is the only song on the album that Mick Jagger, Keith Richards didn't write.
Okay.
I can't compare the original. I've never heard this song before, but I thought it was fascinating. This song is actually in a less than 3 minutes retelling of the parable of the prodigal son found in Luke chapter 15. And I think this is a really cool song lyrically. Mick Jagger puts on a country accent and it works.
Very country.
Yeah, he does a good job on here.
He does.
I love that it's just a laid back song between the acoustic guitar and the drums. And I think they do a great job of retelling the Bible story in a 3-minute song. And I can just see, I think this could have been a great country song by any good country artist at that time. Like, imagine Johnny Cash singing this song, or Willie Nelson, or Waylon Jennings. I think they could have done a great job on this song. But man, Mick Jagger does a good job on this song, and I could see in an alternate universe, Mick Jagger could have been a great country artist if he wanted to. This song is awesome.
Yeah.
I like this song. It's very good. However, I will say that Jacob and Nick are probably the ones who are going to like this song the most. It is not in my top 5, but I do think it is a very enjoyable song, and I love the guitar playing on it. It's very just a kind of relaxing country song after that bombastic street fighting, man. You get this to kind of calm down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I like it too. It's kind of my second least favorite personally for me, but it's still fine. I like the hi-hat playing on this one, and the melody itself is pretty solid too. I didn't write a whole lot about it, but it's a short, sweet song. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just one of those songs like, yeah, it's kind of like sort of what Scott was saying. Like, it's kind of a nice little transitional song, nice little palate cleanser from the last one. But yeah, it's I like it.
I freaking love this song. This is easily my top 5. I've always loved this song. All of its sort of simple nature, even though it's complex, the lyrics, kind of like what Jacob was talking about, but like it's pretty simple, really, like instrumentally. And I love like sort of that acoustic feel to it. Yeah, this is another song I really like. It's in my top 5. We get to the next song on the album now, Stray Cat Blues.
Yeah, to me, this was just a okay song. It's very fast paced, which I kind of enjoyed. Instrumentally, I thought it was really well done. Like I just say instruments because I'm like, I can't say one really shows out in front of the other. I think everything sounded really good as far as guitar, bass, and drums and everything. You know what I should say? I think Charlie Watts is a really good drummer on this album. And I don't talk about him ever when I talk about the Rolling Stones. And in fact, I didn't think much about him until he died. And then everybody talked about how great he was. And I was like, oh, I never really thought about him all that much compared to, the John Bonhams and the Keith Moons and the whatever, all the Neil Pearts, But on this album, especially, I feel like there's some points like this where I felt like, well, Charlie Watts does a really good job here. And again, I forget about sometimes I forget about the drummer and the bass player, and I think I need to give them more credit for some of this stuff, anyways. But also, I think vocally, I thought Mick Jagger did a good job vocally on the song. But to me, it's not one of the better ones. It's just okay.
All right, I think I'm gonna break the little bubble on this one.
The elephant in the room.
This is my least favorite song on the album.
Oh, okay.
The production wise, this song's pretty good. I especially like the drumming on this song from Charlie Watts. I can't get past how sketchy the lyrics are. The song, this is the Rolling Stones equivalent of the song "Sick Again" on Physical Graffiti, the Led Zeppelin album. And this pretty much Mick Jagger singing about being in an inappropriate relationship with a teenage girl. Oh. And there's even a part of the song where he's like, "It's not a problem. It's no capital crime." I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? If you were singing this song today in 2024, one, you'd be a pedophile for one thing. You'd be put behind bars. And you'd be viewed as a sex offender. So I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe it was lax in 1968, but no.
Yeah.
The other one that really gets me, I'm like, no, it was like, I don't want to see your ID. It's like, no.
Yeah, this song grossed me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, and the only reason I'm not giving this album a 10 out of 10 is because of this song. So.
I am very much torn because if we're going by just the music, this very well might be my favorite song on the album. But you got these super disturbing lyrics here about Mick Jagger getting with a... Is this like 15? It's like, come on, man. Like, I know you're young at the time, but like, that's illegal. That is a capital offense. So, no. But the music-wise, it's very interesting. I like Nicky Hopkins' piano on here. I think it's really interesting. I love Keith Richards' guitar playing. And Brian Jones comes in at the very end with the Mellotron, and adds a really interesting dimension to the song. It's just, could you have put some different lyrics to this song? I would have made it a lot better. Like, I know the Rolling Stones are all about controversies, but like,
yeah.
Honestly, there's a difference between being edgy and being juvenile, and this one leans more on the juvenile end, as well as like Star is another one I can think of like that. But that's my opinion on this song.
All right. Okay, so I guess I'm coming in the one that likes it the most. Okay, so again, it's kind of one of those situations where, again, Mick Jagger's another one that was vocalist, where a lot of times I can't understand what he's saying. So again, it doesn't bug me. It really doesn't bug me. But what everyone was saying was I do agree with is that musically it's very well done. And I like the opening guitar line because it actually was inspired by the song Heroin by the Velvet Underground. And I know that song, and yeah, I do hear it. It's not the same vibe, but it kind of has a similar sort of progression there. But yeah, I mean, the guitars are great. Really good drumming from Charlie, like Jason mentioned, I think. And the piano really adds a great layer. And Jones on the Mellotron, yeah, very nice addition there. And I guess I'll throw in this other tidbit, the whole controversy there. Mick Jagger would sometimes poke the bear even more by changing the age. Instead of saying 15, he would say 13 instead.
Gosh.
So he's just poking that bear even more.
A little Lido.
Yep. So there you go. I actually do like this song.
Look, Under My Thumb, no problem. Stupid Girl, no problem.
I like
this one.
Some Girls is also a good one.
Yeah, but I draw the line at this one. No illegal relationships, man.
I love this song. I'm with Breyer. This is another fantastic song on the album. I'm also going to drop the bomb and say this is in my top 5 as well.
Wow.
Oh no.
I freaking love yes, this and Sick Again are like the ones where I'm like, if you get past the lyrics, this is a fantastic track.
I will say I like this a lot better than Sick Again.
The jamming
This
on
one is a little more memorable than Sick Again, production wise.
if the lyrics weren't so bad, I probably have this as my favorite song on the album. But
Me too.
but the jamming's so gosh darn good. I can't keep it out of my top 5. So there's that. We get to the next song on the album, Factory Girl.
Yeah, that's another song I thought was just okay here. Kind of like the last song. Again, it's very country sounding, like a lot of the songs on this album. At least to me, I heard country. I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, and I love Jacob. I think mentioned on like one of the songs, like every once in a while, yeah, Mick Jagger has like this country twang, which is very interesting because he's British, of course. And I'm like, wow, he's like doing a country twang thing to some of these songs, and I was like, that's interesting. Like, I didn't think he'd be doing that. I thought it was actually kind of catchy. I thought there was some very catchy moments in it, which I liked. And it's funny. And I'm totally off here, but at first I thought I heard a ukulele or something in here, and then by the end I thought I heard a violin. So I can't figure out if I heard a ukulele or a violin.
Yeah,
I don't know.
somewhere in
Violin.
between. It's more of a mandolin.
Okay, mandolin. Okay.
There is a violin in here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I kept listening, going, I don't know what I'm listening to, but it sounds like mandolin, yeah, ukulele, one of those things. And then I thought, oh, it sounds like there's a violin. I like that. I like the addition of it's like a country violin fiddle. Yeah, it's like a country fiddle.
In the country music world, it's called a fiddle.
Yeah, the fiddle. So I like that. I like the country fiddle thing in there, and like the mandolin. It's still, I didn't think it was a great song, but it was okay.
Yeah, I do really like this song. Again, I'm a sucker for the country music vibe on this album, and so this song worked for me too. This one, I think, kind of teeters more on the folksy side with some of its production, but I still think it's a catchy song. I love the fiddle solo on here. I was not expecting to hear a fiddle in a Rolling Stones song.
No expectations.
But it's still pretty good. I like some of the other songs on the album more, but it does a good job. To me, it was kind of a palate cleanser after the last song. It's only 2 minutes, so it comes in, comes out. It doesn't, go beyond its. It doesn't go beyond its lengths to be. It's not like over long or anything, but I do really like this one.
I like this song as well. I dig the country vibe. I love the fiddle playing on here. A much more legitimate relationship than the last song.
Yeah.
Waiting for your girlfriend to get off work at the factory. A lot of the songs on this album are very speaking to the blue collar working class citizens. Salt of the Earth, which we'll talk about in a minute. This song, even like some parts of Street Fighting Man, where it's like, what can a poor boy do but play in a rock and roll band? It's like people who like are struggling financially, I guess. But and this one as well, like factory workers. I really enjoy this song.
Yeah, I really enjoy this song as well. I do like the folksy kind of country combination we have here, and the percussion as well. And the percussion is actually pretty interesting because they actually take a little influence from Celtic music, which is very fascinating. And yeah, I mean the mandolin, the fiddle, very nice, really good combination of sounds here. Again, it's another one of those songs that's very it's short, but it's a very sweet song as well, and lyrically it's pretty nice as well. I do enjoy the lyrics here. But yeah, overall I think this was a pretty good song. It's actually a highlight for me.
This is another highlight for me as well. I really like this song. I love its country folk feel. Another great acoustic song from them. Yeah, you guys summed it up pretty well. It's just another great song on this amazing album. We get to the very last song on the album, Salt of the Earth.
Yeah, Salt to the Earth. I thought this was a really good closer to the album. Yeah, I really liked the song. I really liked the chorus. I thought a really good, catchy chorus that I think was one of my favorite things of the song. Really liked the piano. I thought piano was really great here. Again, the drums. I thought this is one of my favorite drumming on the album. I thought that stood out quite a bit. And you got again that slide guitar kind of in the background as well. And I love that. I love when they add like all these other instruments kind of in the back. And overall, it's another kind of hidden gem song that I think is a really good Rolling Stones song.
Yeah, I thought this was a good way to close out the album. Starts off Keith Richards is singing, and I'm still not sold on Keith Richards as a vocalist between this and Something Happened to Me Yesterday. Thankfully, Mick Jagger picks up after the first verse, and I think it's a pretty catchy song. It's got a good hook to it. Salt of the Earth, obviously, another Bible reference. That's taken from Matthew 5:13. You were the salt of the earth. But in this context, it's used to pay tribute to the blue collar workers who work hard who pretty much work hard and are pretty much like outstanding citizens and stuff like that. Which is kind of a contrast to Street Fighting Man, which I thought was pretty interesting. I like the has almost has kind of a gospel feel to it too, along with the country influence. And country and gospel tend to go hand in hand very well. And then when you get they got like a choir that shows up at the end, singing the chorus, I'm like, okay, this actually does fit very well. There's some good piano playing on this song. Jason mentioned the drumming again; it's terrific. And this is another great song on the album and a really good closer. There hadn't been good Rolling Stones closers recently, but this one I really liked.
Wait till you hear "Shine a Light from Exile Elementary." That's another really good gospel song from them.
This song is amazing. I forgot about this song. It starts out with Keith Richards singing, and it's kind of a tip of the hat to working class citizens. Now, here's the thing. Whenever John Lennon wrote his song, Working Class Hero, which comes out later, it's like, come on, man. Like, you've got a mansion and stuff. But for me, it feels like Mick Jagger kind of fits the theme of singing about the working class a lot better. It's like, I feel like if Mick Jagger wasn't like in a band, that he would be like one of those people who like has works hard and has a job. Like he seems kind of like a tough go get him kind of person. He fits a lot better than John Lennon with this particular theme. I love the choir coming in at the end. I can kind of see it sowing the seeds of you can't always get what you want at the end of this song. And I love the jamming on the outro. This is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Going to what you were saying though with the whole thing is when Brian Jones originally hired Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, they had no money really. They were lived in an apartment together, the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Mick Jagger. It's funny because I agree with you because
he comes off a lot more as blue collar than John Lennon.
Yeah, not that, but he actually did live in like a really poor area, and he actually knew how it was like to struggle. So you hear the fact that like the reason why I feel like it works better with him is because he actually experienced how
he feels like the guy who didn't have a lot of money, then worked hard to be a musician, and instead of being like, because a lot of musicians write songs about like the rich upper class where it's like we go to fans like for example, Life's Been Good by Joe Walsh. We're talking about all the crazy parties and stuff the rich go to. I love that song. It's so funny.
Pretty accurate song, probably.
I love that song. But like on the other hand, and Mick Jagger's kind of like, don't forget about the working class people. Like they need recognition as well.
Yeah, because at one point he actually was a part of that. I just wanted to share my opinion on that as well.
Mm. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue this train, but yeah, this is another highlight for me. Really great closing song. Again, the acoustic guitar intro sounds really nice, and really like it when Charlie comes in on the drums. Really starts to kick in at that point. Then there's some slide guitar on this one too, and it sounds really nice as well. And of course, Mick Jagger's vocals very top notch here. And the gospel choir, very nice touch. Really enjoyed that inclusion in it. And yeah, overall, just a really great song. One of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, this is an amazing album closer. Kind of like what I was telling before with what me and Scott were talking about Mick Jagger, like looking back at the working class, like, hey, let's give a drink to them. They deserve it. And I had a real hard time whether this being my number 5 or a particular other song being my number 5, but I ultimately decided that this is just an honorable mention. But if you were to rank the songs on the albums, this would be strongly at number 6. Speaking of that, what is your top 5, Jason?
We're not gonna do the non-album singles.
Oh yeah, sorry guys. Again, I'm a little off today. I'm always off, as I will also say. The first song we're going to talk about is Jumpin' Jack Flash. Pretty sure everyone knows that song.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those big radio hits that I can't believe it's not on the album. I remember this. Just a little tidbit. I remember I went to a Chiefs game back in the day, and I feel like they played this Jumpin' Jack Flash song like every 10 minutes. Like every time there was a timeout, there's a break in the game. Also, not hear the guitar riff. I'm like they're playing they're playing Jumpin' Jack Flash again. Like I felt like I don't know. That's my memory, anyways. I just kept going. This song must be very popular because they keep playing this song like all the time. But it does have like one of the most memorable, I think, guitar riffs in it. Yeah, it's a decent song.
Yeah, so I actually do know this song very well. It's one I've heard a lot on the radio over the years. But my big question is, why is this song not on this album? Considering I don't like Stray Cat Blues, you should have taken Stray Cat Blues off and put Jumpin' Jack Flash in its place. I would have given it a 10 out of 10 album if that was the case.
Yeah.
This song is awesome. Come to find out, Brian Jones did the guitar riff on this song, and it's awesome.
I was born in a crossfire hurricane.
Yeah, and Mick Jagger sings awesome on this song. And it's all right, Jumpin' Jack Flash, yes. I've always loved this song. If it was on the album, it would have been in my top 5. It's just a great rock song in general.
This song is amazing. Why is it this? Well, I know why it wasn't on the album. They had to put something out because they were due an album in the summer of 1968. They had to revise the cover, and so to appease the fans, they had to put it as a single ahead of time. And in the UK, you put a single out, that ain't going on the album. And by this time, they had consolidated and said that the US and the UK versions would be identical, so there wasn't going to be any track swapping on that. So sadly, it would just remain a single. But I really wish this was on the album because the guitar riff is epic. It was recorded the same way that the guitar riff on Street Fighting Man was recorded, on an acoustic guitar on a tape recorder. It's amazing. I love Mick Jagger's vocals. And there's like piano in there too. Boom, 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 boom. And man, one of the greatest opening lines. I was born in a crossfire hurricane. I don't even know what that means, but it's amazing. And then I kind of take that like I was born under a bad sign or something like that. I was born in troubled times or something like that. But I wish this was on the album. It would be in my top 5 if it was. But sadly, I'll just have to listen to this on my Hot Rocks compilation, which is it gives me a reason to own that now, because that was the first Rolling Stones record I bought, was the Hot Rocks compilation.
or
Gives
the
me a
cheap
reason to.
plug-in. Sorry.
Oh,
Or
sorry.
the cheap. Oh,
Oh. It gives me a reason to own that because it's got that 19th Nervous Breakdown and Honky Tonk Women.
or the cheap plug-in, you can listen to the Jacob cut on my Spotify account where it has this song instead of Stray Cat Blues.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Cutting Straight Cat Blues from the album ain't no capital offense.
No. But removing Jumpin' Jack Flash on the album is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should have been on this album. I don't care if it was even if it was like a 11-track album. Like, put it somewhere on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good song. It's kind of, the inspiration of the song is kind of funny because I think Mick was staying at Keith's country house, and I think they woke up, they heard banging upstairs, and they're like, "Who was that? Oh, that's just the gardener Jack. Jack's jumping." There you go.
What?
Is that why Brian Jones is holding a little rake on the front of the single
Oh
sleeve?
yeah, that's probably why. Yes,
Oh,
it was
thought that
literally
was
inspired by
Devil.
Keith's gardener, who was named Jack. So there you go.
I really thought that was Devil Horns when I saw that cover.
No, it's a rake. It's a garden rake.
But yeah, this is another really fun song. A really nice guitar intro, and the bass playing again really nice. And again, it was played by Keith. Bill was playing organ on this track, so he wasn't playing bass on it, but still pretty nice. And Scott mentioned the piano. Yeah, really nice piano underneath. That was actually Ian Stewart this time on piano. So yeah, very nice to hear him here. And the chorus is very catchy as well. Really like the chorus. Great groove. And even has maracas in it, which is very nice. Little extra flair there. But yeah, if this would have been on the album, it would have been my top 5. But regardless, it's still a nice song. Definitely a good one.
I really like the song. Surprisingly enough, this would have not been in my top 5 had it been on the album. It would have just been an honorable mention. Having that said, it should have been on the album. This song is great though. Love the guitar intro. I don't really have much more to say. You guys pretty much summed it up pretty well. We flipped the side over to the B side. Child of the Moon. Whoever listened to it, voice your opinion.
I didn't listen to it.
Okay. Well, so I'd never heard of this song until Nick mentioned it. It's an interesting little song. It has more of a psychedelic flavor to it. I don't think the song would have fit on Beggars Banquet. If it was on the album, it would have been so out of place. I actually, strangely enough, I think it would have fit better on Satanic Majesty's Request, that being a psychedelic album. And I think if it was on that album, if you tweak some of the ordering around a little bit, since that's a messy album, if you put Child of the Moon and then Dandelion and We Love You on there with the best songs on that album, I think it would be a better album than the album we got. So that says something. The only thing that really kind of hurts this song for me is that when I was listening to it with Nick and Scott the other night, and we watched a music video, and the music video is just the Stones standing around this one woman in a field. It almost gave me like slasher vibes watching it. It was kind of weird, but if you don't watch the video, honestly, it's kind of boring.
Freaky. Brian Jones looks like the Wolfman about to turn into a werewolf and chase after this lady. And then like the lady turns into a little kid, and then Baggett's like, "What's good?" This is the same person who filmed the Hey Jude music video, so you know they can do good music videos.
Thankfully, music videos got better over time.
Yes.
But the song's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's fine.
I like this song. I think it has kind of a cool vibe to it. I definitely agree it would fit better on the album before it. In fact, if you take like the best songs on that album, plus We Love You, Dandelion, and Child of the Moon, like Jacob was talking about, you have an album that would probably be at least a 7 out of 10. But yeah, it's a pretty good song. I like it. Not as much as Jumping Jack Flash, but it's a pretty good song.
Okay. Well, kind of similar to Jacob. I'd never heard of this song before getting ready for this, and I don't know. I really like this one. I really enjoyed it. I think that it's not too to me. It's not that crazy. Nothing too much goes on, but I really like the guitar melody to it, and it just keeps a steady beat throughout. And overall, it just has this very nice vibe to it that I really gelled with. Like it has a nice, sort of not quite laid back, but somewhere in between, where it's like you're kind of chilling, but it's like you're kind of grooving as well. You're just vibing to it basically. And I really think Mick sounds really good. He has a good vocal here, and some very good harmonies, I think, as well. And even some good organ playing. I noticed some organ in there, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this one. This is kind of like that hidden gem I heard for the first time, and if it was on the album, this would be pretty high for me, honestly. I really dug it.
Well, I'm glad someone agrees with me. I love this song. I'm with Briar. When I was discovering their singles for the first time, and I heard this as the B-side, I'm like, I think this is better than Jumpy Jack Flash. I still think so. I still think so. If this was on Beggars Banquet, this would be my favorite song on the album. Yeah, that's how much I like it. So
Wow.
I love this song, and I'm gonna defend the music video too. I think it's cool. I love that. I love this song. After the stream is over, I'm gonna show Jason the song because he needs to listen to it now.
Would you rather it be on Beggar's Banquet or would you rather it be on Cosmic Christmas?
Oh, Cosmic Christmas! It's a psychedelic song. It would stick out like a sore thumb. Unlike Parachute Woman, where it sticks out like a sore thumb for a good way, it would stick out in a bad way for me. So I take out that messy 8-minute track, replace it with Dandelion in this song, and you would have a really good album. Be even better for me. So, yeah, I love this song. Going back to what we were doing before I was reminded about the non-album singles. Jason, what is your top 5?
All right. Number 5 is Salt of the Earth. Number 4 is Jigsaw Puzzle. Number 3, No Expectations. 2, Street Fighting Man. And number 1, Sympathy for the Devil.
All right, for me, of course, I got one dishonorable mention. That's Stray Cat Blues.
Yeah.
3 honorable mentions, and that is Factory Girl, Dear Doctor, and what was close to making the top 5. This has been my number 6. Sympathy for the Devil is my number 6. Top 5. Number 5, Salt of the Earth. Number 4, No Expectations. Number 3, Street Fighting Man.
Okay.
Number 2, Jigsaw Puzzle. Number 1, Prodigal Son.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And then Jumpin' Jack Flash, if it was on the album, it would have been my number 3.
I know what the top 5 songs are. It's just putting them in an order.
I feel like we're going to have different number 1s or something.
I know. Okay.
Interesting to see.
So I know number 5 is Jigsaw Puzzle. Number 4, I'll go with Sympathy for the Devil. Number 3, yeah, I'll do it this way. Number 3, Street Fighting Man. That was going to be my number 1, but I switched it to number 3 because I've thought about it more. Number 2, Salt of the Earth, and number 1, No Expectations.
Oh,
That
cool.
song really surprised me.
Wow. Good song.
Okay. So for me, I did make one last minute adjustment, but number 5, I have Jigsaw Puzzle. Number 4, Factory Girl. Number 3, Salt of the Earth. Number 2, No Expectations. And number 1, Street Fighting Man. And if we were to include the singles, then it would have been number 5 would be Salt of the Earth, number 4 Jumpin' Jack Flash, number 3 No Expectations, number 2 Child of the Moon, and number 1 would still be Street Fighting Man.
Cool. We all have different number ones.
Wow, 5 different number ones.
Must be a good album then.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Number 5, Stray Cat Blues. Oh yeah, for the honorable mentions, I'm gonna say Salt of the Earth, No Expectations, and Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man. Number 4, I'm gonna say Factory Girl. Number 3, Parachute Woman. Number 2, Prodigal Son. Hell yeah! Number 1, I wanted to put it in number 1, but my number 1 has to be Jigsaw Puzzle.
That's a
Wow.
great song.
So that just proves how amazing this album is. Not only is Jason and Briar joining us for the review, that's how shows how great it is, but none of us agree on the best song on the album.
Can't agree.
None of us.
Wow.
None of us agree.
I feel like my top 5 could be put in any order at any day. Like those 5 songs are the ones that just really stand out to me. But for today, I'm feeling No Expectations.
But the
Like
fact that
if you ask me tomorrow, I could say Street Fighting Man. If you ask me again in 3 days, I could say Jigsaw Puzzle. If you ask me again, and we could say Sympathy for the Devil. It just depends on the day.
but the fact
but
that
Today,
today
it's No Expectations.
but today though, all of us not having the same number 1, none of us.
That's crazy. We all had different number 1s.
That's nuts. That
Like,
is crazy.
Happened, has it?
That never happened before.
Because
No.
Beatles for Sale, we had like the same number 1. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that album is not the best. So, what does everyone just rate this album?
All right. So for me, like coming to this, it's one of my favorite Rolling Stones albums actually. But I'm not like the biggest Rolling Stones fan, so take it as you will on that statement. In fact, when I was listening to all the albums in order, this was like the first album I got to, and I was like, oh, this is a good album. All the albums before, I was like, these aren't very good albums. So I was kind of like really sour on the Rolling Stones. And then I finally got to this one. I was like, oh, okay, so they can make a good album. That's good to know. For me, five of the songs are really good. 5 of the songs, not that good. So it's kind of half and half. And so I settled on an 8.5.
That's kind of funny with Jason. You said 5 of the songs were good, 5 not so good. That was me with Cosmic Christmas, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. So, but, this album, I want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I think if you didn't have Stray Cat Blues on here and you have Jumpin' Jack Flash instead, it would be my favorite Rolling Stones album. It would top Aftermath.
Okay.
But you got Stray Cat Blues on here, which is not that good of a song. And it's like the one ink stain on an otherwise amazing album. So because of that, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. But at the moment, it's currently my second favorite Stones album behind Aftermath. I love the country influence on this album. And even the rock songs on this album are really good too. It's kind of weird because Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man technically kind of feel out of place on this album because most of it has the country influence. But I like how different this album is, and like they really surprised me on like the sound of this album, and I think it's a really cool album.
I have a question, Jacob. You think the score might ever go up, or you think it's gonna permanently be a 9 out of 10?
Well, the 10 out of 10 version is the version that I created with Jumpin' Jack Flash. So
Okay, because I know what music it's like. Things could always change.
yeah,
Things grow on you. Like I was just wondering if like you listen to it more, like maybe if you listen to this album and like.
I tried. Well, when I re-listened to the album again, I tried listening to Stray Cat Blues. When the Capital Crime reference came on, I'm like, I still don't care for it. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's why I asked. I don't know if this will ever be above 9 or if 9's just gonna be the permanent score. That was just
That's where it is for the time being.
I'm going to give this album a 9.75. The Stray Cat Blues lyrics are the only thing that prevents it from being a 10 out of 10. Even if he had just said 19, I may have given this album a 10 out of 10, but 15 automatically docks it several points. This album is amazing. All the other tracks are fantastic. Oh yeah, that and Parachute Woman, that's the other reason it went down 0.25. But I do love the rest of the songs on this album. Some of the Stones' finest work here.
Okay. I'm going to agree with Jacob. I'm also going to give it a 9 out of 10. Very strong album. To me, this is like the beginning of my favorite period of the Rolling Stones. And so, yeah, this is a nice way to start it off. Yeah, I gave it a 9 because, some of the songs I was not too crazy for, like Parachute Woman and Prodigal Son. Yeah, it kind of brought it down. And again, I'm not the hugest fan of Sympathy for the Devil, so that also played a role. But again, this album, it definitely is a grower. I feel like I like this a lot more than what I originally thought of it when I first heard it.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And to me, they're just going to get better from here. So for right now, it's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, so Brian's going to be joining us for the rest of the series up until It's Only Rock and Roll. So we're going to see his input on the Nick Taylor era, basically.
Well, in the words of Mick Jagger, all right, all right, all right.
So I'm excited for Brian to temporarily join us for this. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect album. I find no issues with it. Even my least favorite song on the album, Dear Doctor, is great in its own goofy way. So there's two averages. There's the average between the three of us in the main series, which will be the one that I'm counting for, and then the average with the two guests on it. So with just the three of us, it averages to 9.5 out of 10.
It's gonna be really high.
And with Jason and Breyer's score, it's 9.25 out of 10. It's an even 9.25.
That's good.
So it only I'm only going to count for the three of us, so it's going to be 9.5. But even with Jason and Breyer's score, it's still pretty high. So take that for as you will.
Aftermath is gonna be because that's a perfect.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we all three scored at 10.
yeah.
Right after that, I'm guessing.
I'm pretty
Which
sure.
one's higher, this or Between the Buttons on the average?
I think it's still Aftermath because I gave Between the Buttons a 9.
Well, for Beggars Banquet, which is that? Which average is
what
higher?
score did you give Between the Buttons, Scott?
9.75.
It's the same score. Though. It's the same score.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the exact same score.
So
We're gonna have to break the tie as to which one we like better.
I like Beggars Banquet more. So
I'm
I
actually
like
going
Beggars.
to agree. For the longest time, Between the Buttons was my second favorite Stones album, but I hadn't listened to Beggars Banquet enough. It's even better than Between the Buttons.
Yeah, let's go 3 for 3. I'll go Beggars Banquet as well.
okay, so as of now, the top 3 Stones albums is number 3 Between the Buttons, number 2 Beggars Banquet, and number 1 Aftermath with the averages.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a really fun series going through this. We won't be seeing Jason until way late into the series. We won't be seeing him until.
I thought Jason wanted to do Let It Bleed.
Oh, yep. We're gonna see. So next Rolling Stones video is gonna be the 5 of us again.
Yes.
So, yeah. But after Let It Bleed, we won't be seeing Jason until Rescue. So
Emotional Rescue.
It's gonna be a long Jason after that, but. This was fun. First ever video with the 5 of us. I feel like it's a very good album to get the 5 of us joining us on. Again, welcome for now, Breyer. Welcome for the big 4 plus 2 others.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. But of course, I just want to briefly remind everyone, well, not here, but here and also to the viewer, Stephen Fish, that after the Stone series, there's going to be 2 other series going to happen afterwards, the ABBA series and the Who series. So it's going to be pretty fun.
Who are we doing a series on?
Huh?
Who are we doing a series on?
Who?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
But
Who are these guys again?
but for the Who
Who are
series,
they?
Who am I?
Who?
for the Who series, it's going to be Jason, Jacob, Scott, and Tyler and me. As for the ABBA series, it's going to be as of now, from what I could tell, it's going to be Jacob and Jason. Me and Jason are going to try to convince one person to join us on it, but that will be in the far future. not saying any names, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. We had a blast making this. For what I could tell. Thank you, Stefan, for watching this video. Love your feedback. And thank you, Mick Jagger, for watching this video.
Thank you,
It's
Mick.
an honor.
The
Give,
man
give us
himself.
tickets.
Yeah, give us free tickets already. Come on.
Yeah.
Not just the 20,000 grandmas.
Yes. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long.